My parents divorced when I was 6 years old, but growing up, nobody ever told me why. I could only remember that day when my dad and my brother left. Later on, about 30 years old, I had a dream. In my dream, there was a little girl in front of my house. She was throwing something on the ground. Then someone came and sat next to her, and then they began to talk. She told him her parents were getting a divorce, and she felt it was her fault. That little girl was me. I didn't realize that I have been carrying those guilt all my life.
I didn't really understand much when my parents got divorced. I was less than a year old, and of course I was way too young for my mom to have any kind of conversation with me. Growing up, I met my dad for the first time when I was 5 or 6. I carried a lot of questions, most of them deep under the surface, but they kind of bubbled up at one point when I was 13 years old. I took a road trip with my dad and visiting him for a couple weeks during the summer, and he started asking me some questions to get me to open up. And I don't really remember what he said, but I just remember at one point he had to pull over the car because I started screaming at him, why? Why did you leave us? Why did you leave us? Clearly it was something that was just buried pretty deep down in there. Things were quite a bit different a few years later when my mom divorced my stepdad. That guy turned out to be an alcoholic. Since I was a teenager, my mom took more time to explain to me that she was making this decision and that it was necessary. She was concerned about our health and well-being, and just the quality of the relationship was so poor. I think it was easier for me to understand and see that it wasn't my fault. The times that were most helpful for my emotional healing and when I became an adult was when my mom and I could sit down and really have some heart-to-heart conversations. I'm glad that my mom tried.